Welcome to the Family Business Audiocast on LinkedIn. I am R. Adam Smith, creator of this audiocast series. As an entrepreneur, investor, founder, investment banker, and board leader the last 25 years, I'm fortunate for my many experiences within the family firm industry. A warm thank you to our live audience on LinkedIn today and for those listening in the future. A brief comment on why I created this broadcast. Private companies are a passion of mine, having grown up in a family of entrepreneurs and having engaged for 2 decades in deals, strategic transformations, investments, and boards with an array of fascinating family enterprises, family firms, and family offices. I founded this series to offer a useful platform for listeners to hear from veterans, academics, and leaders in the vast family firm ecosystem. Whether you're a family business owner, building, running, or advising a family office, or just expanding your family office activities, I hope these conversations are useful and enlightening. And now it's time to turn our attention to our accomplished guests on today's episode. I'm very pleased to host today my friend Massimo Bau. Massimo, welcome to the audiocast today.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here, and thanks for the invite.
It's great to have you here. So we're going to kick it off in a couple of minutes with him, but I would just like to share a little bit on his illustrious background briefly. Massimo is a senior associate professor in family business and ownership at the Jönköping International School in Sweden and also director of the Center for Family Entrepreneurship and Ownership. He's also the research director and member of the board of the International Family Enterprise Research Academy, also involved in the Fellow Family Firms Institute, also a member of the Academy Academic Advisory Board of the Board's Impact Forum, and co-founder of the European Family Business Centers. He also is on the faculty of the Family Business Institute at the Grossman School of Business, University of Vermont, and also a member of the scientific committee of the National Center for Family Business at Dublin City University. Earlier, he obtained his PhD in business administration from the University of Italy, writing his thesis entitled Family Embeddedness and Entrepreneurial Entry. He teaches on family business, entrepreneurship, also creativity, design thinking, and research methods, and covers a wide range in the academic realm. He's also a fellow of the Family Firms Institute, which is the leading association worldwide for family entrepreneur professionals. He's a member of the Board Impact Forum, as I mentioned, and he's very involved in the Scandinavian market as well, and just all around extreme expert in this space of family enterprises, family firms, family ecosystems. Wonderful to have him here today. Massimo, how are you and where are you today?
Thank you so much. I'm very good. I'm sitting in my office in Jönköping in Sweden. So I would say it was a work day like many others, but exciting because quite a lot of discussion taking place today about the future of family business education and other activities we are doing in the center. You know, in 1 year we're gonna celebrate 20 years anniversary, and that it's occupied quite a lot of discussion in this period.
Massimo, why don't we dig into some of the topics today with your involvement in family business and all of your academic and board posts. Why don't we start talking about the unique aspects and lessons you've gained from collaborating with a whole wide range of family business organizations in the world?
I think that the main learning is the fact that families can be very different. At the same time, they generally share quite common issues, quite common problems, and the starting point for approaching those problems often passed through a curiosity that is leading to education and an interest toward education in the topics that these families are facing. So somehow everything that we are at the end doing when we are scholars working family business, when we work with family companies, is try to stimulate this curiosity, this interest in collecting information, discussing information, finding ways to answer questions and stimulate the right questions in the discussion. And this is true at very different levels because family business members can have different roles, they can come in different ways, and they can have, of course, different experiences as they have different ages in the moment in which we enter in dialogue with them.
I'm thinking, how has the family business education evolved the last decade, especially involving entrepreneurship, and the entrepreneurial fabric of the family enterprise, and then also on the governance side. Interested in your thoughts on the evolution the last 5 or 10 years.
I would say that family business education evolved substantially across years. If we look most probably 10 years ago, there were very few institutions, there were very few schools that were having um, family business education, that were having a family business course. And this number of organization has been growing through time. On the other side, in a large part, it has been a bit an approach of one size fits all, or one course fits all. And this maybe is something that has been substantially changing in the last 5 years, where an attention toward targeting different type of groups in different types of roles in different types of stages of their life are looking for receiving education connected to family business. On the other side, I would say also that the type of content and focuses has been substantially evolved. So we can actually discuss in two different ways. When we talk about the individuals that are taking and looking for family business courses today, I will say that we can observe that we have, of course, the next generation group. And the next generation group is the one that we generally meet in universities, that we are meeting in class and we are building a lot of dialogue and consideration with them. And in our case, for example, here in Jönköping, we use with them two different tracks. So one is an entrepreneurship track where the focus is really on the entrepreneurial perspective, entrepreneurial background, the cohabitation, the coexistence, the relationship between individuals that are sharing entrepreneurial activities. And on the other side, there is the track that look more on managerial focus, where the complexity goes more into more structure, organization, older families, etc. But then actually we identify other types of groups that we are working with education. We are running programs with doctoral students. So we are having 2 doctoral courses in family business plus a full program. We are also working with different ages of family business members in executive education. I would say that most probably the most interested in education as a target group is the one that is most probably in the phase of completing their succession. They are in the phase of being between in the range of their 40s, and they are starting to think about how can I make this passage smoother for my next gen, and how I can create the better conditions for them.
Right.
Maybe one additional aspect is the fact that family offices, family wealth, as look as seek for more and more space into education, and that somehow change a bit the focus that we are having when we talk with the participant to the course, because we are not anymore focusing on one single business. We are looking more into a constellation of businesses, or even more into a investment perspective.
Right.
And that lead us to the point of impact and sustainability, that are, of course, the big topics that we are very much pushed to discuss with our participants nowadays.
Yeah, we will address that towards the end of the call. I agree with you. In the meantime, in terms of succession, which is quite a vogue topic today, we spoke about succession extensively with some previous guests in the industry, including Guillermo Salazar, Christina Wing, Ron Diamond, and of course Alfredo de Massis, who talked about succession moving into the minds of family businesses and family offices and family enterprises around the world. And clearly, it's quite a substantial issue, not only financially but also in terms of governance, in terms of culture. You have you specifically written a great deal about the entrepreneurial context of the family office and researching different processes. I want to highlight some of those research areas that you do and maybe comment on them. First, you talk about family dynamics and the influence of family members on the actor's decision of entry and exit into the entrepreneurial process. Actually, we spoke about this earlier with Matt Hughes from familybusiness.org, which is quite interesting. Secondly, you focus on the academic entrepreneurship and factors enabling new startup and ventures and technology transfer. And then lastly, the family office collaborating with other firms, which also leads us to the topic of the multifamily office and the development of that entity as a more complete and advanced organization. Talk a little bit more about this entrepreneurial adventure and what you see in the market today for the family offices and family firms.
Well, there are different perspectives that we see, and we see that families are um, reflecting on how to evolve, how to mature in their own role and activities. We know the fact that family offices are expensive as organization, and they need to be properly managed. They need to have a combination of competencies that provide um, solid support for the investment decisions that the family is going to do. We should also reflect about how much, in particular, when we look about larger families, and we even go to the direction of multifamily offices, the different family members outside, most probably the inner circle represented by the elderly generation, feel involved and feel connected to the family office in their organization, that the family connect to, because those are all aspects that somehow push toward a reflection about how the family office can better serve the family that they represent. And in this sense, I think you can connect a bit also all the discussion about investing and divesting, entering and leaving. What are where the art of the family is? Where are the aspect in which the family wants to make an impact, and to what extent the attention goes to which type of impact? Is the focus on the financial return? Is the focus on impact investing? And these are all elements of differentiation, and elements that can somehow should be put in the agenda of a family office, reflecting about how to better answer to the question, the needs, and represent the values of the family that they are actually working with and working for and part of.
There's lots to unpack there, of course. So let's talk about the areas that you think in the family enterprise market that are not adequately researched in the world today. What area do you think that the academic community and also the practitioners should be focused on that's not adequately covered?
That's honestly is $1 million question, because I would say that the field is constantly evolving. Is a field that is looking for answers that are more and more detailed, answers that are more and more somehow representative of the different instances that can at the end be configured as a family companies. The main complexity in the family business field is the fact that we talk about family business, but we are describing an extremely heterogeneous group. We are describing a group that is represented by a multiplicity of ownership forms. One among others, for example, we are conducting an extensive project that investigate the role of family foundation here in the Scandinavian context where I operate. So the different type of ownership configuration, the ownership transitions, the way in which these ownership competencies are built and are transferred, are preserved, and are further developed. This, of course, represent important aspects that require more and more research. Surprisingly, I would say, if I have to put one topic among others, the topic of ownership that apparently, from maybe a legal perspective, might appear to be a very solid, very well-known, investigated aspects, is one of those that business literature has investigated the less. A large part of the literature has been just building knowledge, theories, and models around the concept that firms are led by managers. family business has been making a strong claim on the fact that it's what managers are representing and acting on behalf of the ownership group. And the ownership group is the family. And surprisingly, the role of the owners and the way in which an owner manifests their own desire, their own ideas, and approach the companies, but more in general, when we look about family offices, the general family wealth, it's something that is surprisingly under investigated and in which a lot can still be done with very strong implication for practice, with very strong implication for um, family offices, for family business consultant, etc. Because at the end, is in the control of the decisions that are made, is in the control of the configuration of the boards, that we can really find the ultimate essence of what a business is doing and the decisions that are taken.
Thank you for that. Perhaps tell us about the European Family Business Center, which you co-founded, and starting that network. Perhaps the last question you raised about thinking more thoughtfully about the family enterprise and where it's going as an organization led you to form that network. So tell us a bit about the EU FBC and what it is, and what ideas you try to bring to the table, particularly within the European context. And then it'd be interesting also to hear your thoughts of the different context of the European market for the family firm versus the American context.
The idea behind UFBC was to um, answer to a specific problem in a specific moment. UFBC was created during COVID. It was a time in which we didn't have a clear idea about where we were going with the future of academia, with the future of the world, and it was fundamental to try to create a platform that was allowing to keeping on going strong research connection that were already existing between scholars, but to bring them to the next level. It was an initiative that started with this intent, so being a sharing platform for keeping alive the research that was conducted in Europe on family business. And through time, it has been just growing. Even after COVID, more centers has been joining. Currently, there are 21 family business research centers in Europe that are part of the network, and the number is still growing. And the main purpose is to create a sharing platform that across the year allow to connect and to explore. Scholars normally participate to conferences during the summer, and that is the moment in which you get an idea, an overview about what your friends, your colleagues in other institutions are currently investigating outside your inner co-authorship network. But an initiative of this kind, it's a way to create a platform that connect about 300 family business scholars in Europe in a sharing of research, in a sharing of discussion, in a mutual support that create a common identity, but at the same time also an opportunity for getting a constant outlook about what research is currently conducted at different institutions and what are the hot topics that are ongoing in the different regions of Europe as well.
Thank you for that. That's quite a substantial organization, and there are many in Europe. I think in the U.S. there's perhaps less. When you look at Tiger 21 and Fox and IPI, there's more traditional organizations, but in Europe it seems like there's many different niche family firm networks and groups that have been expanding. And do you see the family business industry essentially consolidating a bit, either at the thought leadership level or at the multifamily office level? What do you see going on in Europe right
I I see that there are somehow different instances that we can observe, and I think that Europe is a very broad context to be just reassuming one single answer. I think that I can say that from the position where I am here in Scandinavia, what we see is that there are a lot of small to mid-sized family firms that are currently where the family are currently actually selling their properties, that are selling their companies actually to some local investment groups that are consolidating networks of former family businesses into new groups that generally count around 40 to 60 companies that receive share support. Very often, these groups are even created by former family owners who actually liquidated their own businesses, and with the money that they received by selling, they created a new investment vehicle in collaboration with other former family business owners. So they are currently not family businesses, but they are certainly family wealth vehicles. And this is where somehow we can recognize a difficulty sometimes to discriminate what is the family business level, or is the family wealth level, or is the family office level. What we see in other regions of Europe, I mean, you
And
look
that's
at,
that. Actually, that last point.
yeah,
That's why I like to use the term family enterprise, because ultimately the family office can be really just a structural element of the family firm. And as some people say, for example, the gentleman at Denton's who's often talking about family offices, he likes to refer to the business of the family as opposed to the family business. So
yeah, the issue with a definition of family enterprise sometimes is that you still remain connected to the business units that are controlled by the family, or to the type of investment that the family is doing. But in the moment in which the family start investing with minority shares on multiple businesses, etc., the boundaries of a definition can become extremely confusing. I would say that currently we don't have in literature a definition that really would fully represent the entire complexity of the phenomenon, because, exactly as I was saying before, the heterogeneity of the phenomenon is so broad that somehow we always feel the need to give a label and then to explain what we mean by that label. From another perspective of Europe, I would say that you have all the Eastern European countries that are those that are on the other side experiencing the first succession process in their own history, and that actually represent incredible, vivid scenario and settings where uh, entrepreneurial firms are actually transforming into family enterprises, and you see really the family members that are entering into the play, into the later generations, experiencing for the first time this type of transformation. It's something that you can find similar in the Chinese context from many aspects. Then you have actually Southern Europe, where and Central Europe, where you have more consolidated family groups that has been going through across several generations, and where you can easily find entities that can count even 300 family members, as we well know, kind of similar to a setting in the US. I would say that what we observe most probably is that the dynamics are evolving in a bit different way in different regional contexts in Europe. And different types of ownership models has been adopted more or less in different types of settings.
right, thank you. In my last interview with Highness Sandor Habsburg, we talked about the core mission of the family firm in general. Can be quite challenging to pin down, but in his view, as with governments over time, a family firm essentially has a core mission to survive and to maintain its legacy, essentially keep the music going. What do you think of that?
I like very much how it's described. I think that when we look at family, we always look about overlap of different levels. There is the individual level, and there is the organizational level, and then of course you can go to a business level, etc. But when we just look about the family is the sum of several individuals. There are a lot of family members, and sometimes, as we know, these numbers can really reach 3 digits. And when we talk about what are the goals, what are the values, it's not obvious that everyone in the family share the same goals and values. It's a constant process of alignment. It's a constant process of conversation. It's a constant process of consolidation and transformation. We are somehow binded to the memories of the past. We are binded to the learning that we receive growing up in a family. At the same time, we might actually develop in a different way interest and focus, even setting just the priority between financial and non-financial aspects, the way in which we can perceive sustainability as something that should lead all of our action or should come later on. These are all aspects that somehow are a constant tension between family members, and this tension can be very relaxed or can actually reach levels of extreme difficulty. So what I think is that it's very much connected to the degree and the quality of communication that exists among family members, and the capacity of having a constructive dialogue about this, because those are the elements at the end that can configure unity in a family, or can actually create all these type of disputes that make harder and complex to identify a common point of view that is not just imposed by voting powers and control of shares.
Wonderful. Let's talk briefly about innovation, and then we're going to open up for the first time to a guest of the audiocast live, and I'll get back to that in a couple of minutes. Talk about innovation in the family business community. We have some guests here that are quite involved in the technology innovation space, particularly Adriana and her partner, colleague Phil Strassler, are very involved in technology, and some others here as well. And we've covered also the challenge of advancing entrepreneurship and more complicated, sort of risky activities within the family firm. It can be maybe a human capital challenge. It can be mergers and acquisitions, buying too many companies, or maybe incorporating a lack of technology or too much technology. So talk to us briefly about innovation within the family enterprise, and what do you think is the most important element of that in today's world?
Somehow, speaking about innovation after that you had Alfredo De Masis as a guest before me, it feels a bit uncomfortable. But no, I will say, for me, I think that the critical aspect to consider about when we talk about innovation and family companies is the drivers of innovation, is actually what are the factors that push the family to invest in innovation and to work into innovation. And those drivers are obviously related to the return that is expected from innovation. So, and this return is something that should build legacy, should build continuity, should give a future to the family enterprise. So, in this type of way of considering, I think we are always dealing with a constant trade-off between the cost and the risks of innovation. The fact that innovation has a cost, innovation has uncertain return. We know in general that the more you invest in R&D, the more you can expect a return, but it's not an obvious formula. And this is not just a direct relationship, extremely simple as it might sound, as and everyone that has been working with this topic also knows very well. So I would actually say that is a constant trade-off between our capacity of satisfying the need and the desire of the family today versus the capacity of creating the conditions for optimizing the future of the family and the business at a longer range. And in this type of dynamics is at the end the key for reflecting about innovation. It's technically it's called a mixed gamble. Is a discussion, is a decision between how much degree of risk we want to take today in order to be able to guarantee our future in a later stage. Then I will say that it's difficult today to separate a discussion about innovation from a discussion about sustainable innovation because I think that sustainability most probably is one of the keys of innovation in the future, of course, with digitalization and several other factors. But at the end, again, it's not. Maybe it's wrong to consider sustainability just emotional choice that is done, because it can be a very rational decision, the one that is made, because it's to the extent of creating the conditions for being profitable today and also in the future. And I think that this is the trade-off with innovation, this capacity of balancing these two dimensions.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. All right. We're just going to open it up to the listeners to ask a question. We're going to have one question. So if anyone wants to come on stage, if you go to the bottom and raise your hand, I will select you and come on stage and ask a question to Massimo. All right, Mr. Kraus, go ahead with your.
Gentlemen, can you hear me?
Yep, we're good.
Thank you so much. So I just wanted to have a real quick question, right? So with family enterprises and family-owned businesses, right, there's often a disconnect between, say, like a family council and a board and things of that nature. Could you just touch real quickly on what you think the role of an independent board chair would be to facilitate those discussions between a family council and maybe a fiduciary board?
Thank you for your question. I think that when we are facing this type of discussion, we are always dealing with a framework that was actually created by my supervisor, Matthias Norquist, that explored the concept of actors and arenas. On the one side, we have actors, we have family, and we have non-family members, and those are two type of actors because they have different access to informations and they have different interest in the way in which they operate and make decisions. And on the other side, we have different type of arenas, and we have formal and informal arenas. On the one side, we have the formal arena for excellence in a business, that is of course the board of directors, and we have a formal arena in the family, that is the family council. And then we have the informal arenas that are the corridors, the tables, the kitchens in which information are shared and discussed. I think that the non-family chair often has this type of difficulty in having access to the informal settings where discussion take place in the family. And I think that the main aspect is actually to really try to help the family to understand what is the right place for having the right discussion. Way too often the discussion take place in the wrong place. Part of the decision are already taken, are already somehow pre-discussed, and people that are in charge of being active parts of the decision might remain isolated in the moment in which they are needed the most. And in that sense, most probably the main role of the non-family chair in that case is truly to help the family to learn this type of structure, the use of the different structure, and to create the conditions for maximizing the decision making that is taken in the right forum with the right actors.
Wonderful, Massimo, and thank you for that question, Jonathan. Good one on that topic. I'd like to thank everyone today for joining the Family Business Audiocast, and also our esteemed guest, of course, Massimo Bau, the Senior Associate Professor in Family Business and Ownership, and the Director of the Center for Family Entrepreneurship and Ownership at the Jönköping International Business School, along with many other important posts that he has earned and founded along the way. Thank you, Massimo, for joining today.
Thank you so much.
This is Artem Smith signing off. Stay tuned for the next episode of the Family Business Audiocast on LinkedIn.